Welcome to Section 2, covering tools and tips for boosting productivity in Ionic 4. In this section, we will be looking at build scripts for automating production builds and app signing for Android applications, automating iOS permission configuration, as well as productivity extensions for Visual Studio Code. In this video, I will demonstrate how to use build scripts for automating production builds and app signing for Android applications. So what are build scripts? These are small programs used to automate certain tasks. They can be used to perform anything that you want, and in this case, we will be using them to automate app signing and zip alignment. Now, you might be wondering, why would we want to use build scripts for this? Well, the reason is that creating and testing production builds is a tedious process. It involves many steps with obscure commands. For instance, we would first use the Ionic CLI to build our app using the release flag. Then we'd have to navigate to the APK output folder. Next, we would invoke the JarSigner utility to sign our application using our key. We follow that up with using the zip align tool to align our APK. Then finally, we install our app's APK onto the emulator or a physical device using the ABD tool. As you can see, this is a long process. Furthermore, when you are testing, you will need to repeatedly type these commands and then test, make changes to your code, test again, make more changes over and over. Doing this manually wastes your valuable time. So I will show you how you can reduce this laborious process into one simple command using build scripts. Welcome to my desktop. And here there are two folders that I want to bring to your attention. The first one is called Key. And inside this folder, I have created a key store for signing Android applications. So you should go ahead and create a key store, wherever you'd like. If you don't know how to create one, you can reference the material along with this video. And in this folder called Build Scripts, I have a blank Ionic project, which I created by simply running Ionic start at the command line. I'd like to do is to navigate to this folder in my terminal. So here we are on our desktop inside the build scripts folder on our terminal. Now what we'd like to do is to open this project in Visual Studio Code, and you can do so from the terminal by simply typing in the command code followed by a dot. So here we have our project open in Visual Studio Code, and we want to go into this left panel right here and scroll down to the package.json file. So we want to double click to open that, and I will close the left panel. And we also want to make sure that we have word wrap activated. So you can go to View and click Toggle Word Wrap. So within the package.json file, I'd like to bring your attention to this key right here that says scripts. And scripts is an object of key value pairs, and these are essentially the build scripts that we're going to create. So let's make a custom build script. First, we need to give our build script a name, which is the key in this object. So let's call it build production, since we are building for production. Next, we enter the contents of our script. So in this case, we are simply putting terminal commands that we want to run automatically when this script is called. So I'm going to paste in the commands that I have. So if you look at what we have here, we have this very long string, and essentially it contains a bunch of terminal commands that have been strung together. So let's go through it. First, we have this command where we are changing directory into platforms, Android, app, build, outputs, APK, release, which is the folder where our APK is going to be produced. And once inside, we are going to use, we have here the double ampersand, which allows us to chain together numerous commands. So after running the previous command, we run this one, where we're going to remove any file that ends with .apk. Essentially, what we're doing here is we just want to make sure that we aren't going to sign any existing apps, but start on a fresh slate. Next, we use double ampersand again to chain another command. And we will run Ionic Cordova build Android. And we're using this release flag to tell the compiler that it needs to build an APK for production rather than for development and debugging. After we've generated an APK, we use the jar signer utility and the jar signer utility is going to sign our APK using the key that I showed you earlier, which is in a folder on our desktop, the folder called key, and it's called mykey.keystore. And we're using it to sign our unsigned APK. Next, we are going to use the zip-align utility to align our signed APK, and we're going to rename that APK to buildscripts.apk. And then finally, we have this last command where we're using adb to install the buildscripts.apk file, which is the signed and aligned file. And adb will install that file to any running emulator instance or to a connected device. In this example, I'm going to delete this final command because I do not have a device or an emulator running on my machine. But if you wanted it to automatically install, you could do that. So I'm just going to delete this final command. So there we go. These are the commands that are going to be run by our build script when we run build production. Let's save this file and try it out. So we're back in the root of our Ionic project on our terminal. And in order to run our build script, we simply type in the command npm run and then the name of our build script. In this case, we called it build-production. So we simply type npm run build-production. So let's do that. And as soon as we run it, up top, we have a summary of the commands that are going to be performed, and it's in action. Next, we are prompted to enter the passphrase for our key store, so just enter whatever passphrase you chose for your key store. And there you have it. We have assigned and aligned APK in just one command. And if you had the device connected, it would automatically be installed on that device and ready for testing, saving you lots of precious time.